Hey, business building warrior, welcome to Silent Sales Machine Radio. I'm your host, Jim Cockrum. I'm going to be bringing on a good buddy of mine, Ryan Otwell, in just a minute. He's a great leader in our community who's built an incredible business. He's going to do well over seven figures at beautiful profit margins this year using proven Amazon course strategies, just like you've heard so many others talk about around here. But the thing that makes his story really cool and special is he's an Amazon to Amazon flip expert. About, I think he said 60, 70% of his sales are stuff that he sourced right on Amazon. And he's flipping it right back on Amazon. He's actually got a course that he created for the Proven Amazon Course community. That means it's in the library, provenamazoncourse.com. You can get in there, has this course, or you can buy it separately at provenamazoncourse.com slash A2A, the letter A, the number two, the letter A, just those three digits. That'll show you the sale that we have right now through about the middle of November 2025. We're running a sale on that course. So go check it out at that website. But we're about to meet Ryan. He's going to tell you how he does what he does. He's built an incredible system. He's a great leader in our community. He's got a great nonprofit that he's launched as well to help people in the Philippines with excess inventory that he has or that others in our community have, stuff that maybe they just want to write off as a tax write-off. He can put it to work serving the good people in the Philippines that are associated with some of the churches his church works with. So that link is send-the-light.com. I'll stick that link in the show notes as well. He talks about that for a few minutes as well on today's episode. So just a great guy who brings a lot of energy, a lot of very matter-of-fact advice and insights into what it means to sell on Amazon, build a beautiful business, be able to travel, have the flexibility. So you're in a good community at the right time to meet some great people. And Ryan's just another great leader in this arena who's bringing a lot of value every day. So thanks for joining us for this episode. Let's get Ryan on the line now. Enjoy our conversation. So Ryan, good to see you again, my friend.
You as well, Jim, as always.
Thanks for doing this, man. You've become quite a leader, quite a pillar in our community. Amazon to Amazon flips. You're the first name that comes to a lot of people's minds, but there's some people who don't know you today. So let's do maybe a quick overview, who you are, what you're up to, and then we'll get into it.
Sure. I've been selling on Amazon for a few years now, which is crazy to believe. It's going so fast. Every year just flies by, it seems. But probably took the path many of the people who listen to your podcast are taking, where it's just, introduction to replens and testing the waters and trying to get a proof of concept, making some sales, and then kind of getting addicted to seeing orange bars on an app. So when you start selling on Amazon, your thumb gets, a pretty good workout of refreshing your app to see if your bar moved. But started that way, did some RA, did quite a bit of OA, got into bundles, and had to make a pretty hard pivot there when they made some changes to the bundle policy. So the bundles was going really well, but that kind of forced me into a corner to quickly do something. And I landed on A2A after hearing Abe talk about it at one of the conferences, and just dove in head first, testing wide on, hundreds and hundreds of ASINs, getting tons of experience, and really had an amazing Q4 focusing on A2A. So last year we did, I think it was $125,000 in revenue just from A2A. Doesn't include all our other stuff that we did. That was all with Keepa. So anybody that's listening that has a Keepa subscription, which you should, you can get into A2A. Now I rarely use Keepa. I'm using some other software that's geared specifically for A2A, but you don't have to do that. If you have a Keepa subscription, you learn some of the basics, you can totally take advantage of this strategy, and Q4 is an amazing time to do that.
Yeah, we're right in the middle of it, and it's a year-round thing. What are you going to
Absolutely.
hit this year in A to A for 2025? What are you looking at?
For the year, that's a good question. I have to see where I'm at. I just looked the other day. We've passed $1 million in revenue already for the year. I think we ended at 1.3 last year, so we should be well over 1.5 this year. I would have to divvy that up and see how much of that is A to A. But right now, probably 75% of my catalog is A to A. And it's also hard to quantify what I would call A to adjacent, because maybe we see a lead via A2A and we Google it, and lo and behold, Walmart has this deal or somebody else has the deal, and maybe we rabbit trail off that. So even some of my inventory that doesn't show as Amazon was the supplier could have come from doing A2A strategies.
Your
So
A to A research led to you finding a better price than Amazon was offering. So
exactly,
you sourced
exactly,
it elsewhere. So it would be
exactly.
a W to A, Walmart to Amazon type
Yeah,
deal.
normal arbitrage at that
Right.
point. But
But
you know,
Amazon to Amazon flipping strategy helped you identify those, right?
exactly.
I'm with you.
Anybody that's doing OA is familiar with kind of like signing up for newsletters, getting
Sure.
notified when there's a site sale, and things like that.
Mhm.
Well, I'm monitoring price drops, and a lot of those price drops are price matches to those retailers.
Right.
So it's kind of a trigger that, oh, well, they're probably price matching somebody else. So
When Amazon,
I'm not
yeah,
reviewing all my newsletters anymore. I'm just watching Amazon's price action, and it's like, oh, there's sales
because
here,
they're
there's sales there.
responding. That makes so much sense. I've
Mhm.
never actually had that thought before, but a lot of times when Amazon irrationally drops the price on an ASIN, it's because they're responding to a lower price somewhere else. Well, find that somewhere else, and there's your source. If you can't get
Exactly.
enough from Amazon,
Yeah. And
someone
Jim,
else is
why would
running a
they do
sale.
that? Why would Amazon, even probably they're selling at a loss sometimes. Why would they do that?
hmm There's only one reason to keep up with Target or Walmart or whoever else is running a sale.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, they want the traffic, right?
Yeah.
They want to gobble up all the traffic,
hmm
and those people are going to put other things in their cart too, right?
Yes,
So,
and Amazon knows that. But then
mhm.
that represents a very legitimate opportunity for us as sellers to snag some of those deals. And Amazon smiles on this activity because there's a whole bunch of people doing it at scale. And talk us through that just for a moment. How do we stay safe? And I know we covered this the last time we had you on the podcast, but I'll probably put a link to that too so people can go review it. And you spoke at our conference. That's in the Proven Amazon course library. But what are the couple of basic rules so people don't get themselves in trouble doing
Sure,
A to A
sure.
flips?
Yeah, I would highly recommend, like, I'm not going to come and just, push a course or something, but I would highly recommend, I think you've put that course on sale. Go watch it, if anything, just for the setup videos.
hmm
Because it could save you a ton of heartache. It's really important to set your accounts up right and make sure you're purchasing the right way. The number one thing is going to be not using Prime benefits. So
Right.
that is like strictly written in their terms of service. If you're using Prime benefits for resale, that could get your buying accounts shut down, and it could even contaminate your seller account and cause you issues there. Think of if you're using the same email address for your buying and your selling accounts. Well, it's all
hmm
the same backend to log into Amazon. And if your buying account gets banned, well, you might have trouble logging into your selling account. Even if it doesn't get closed, it could cause a lot of problems for you. So it is really important to just get some of those basic fundamentals down. Make sure you're set up properly. Make sure you're not buying Prime. Just learn some of the basic rules. Another big one that has caused people some trouble here over the last couple of years is buying and selling books from Amazon as new. So once they've sold it to you, they say it's used. Doesn't matter.
Yep.
Doesn't matter the condition. If you opened it, doesn't matter. It's used at that point. So
Yes.
just knowing some of those things and knowing to avoid those will keep you safe.
Yeah. So
Um,
for the price of a very inexpensive course that is now included in the Proven Amazon course, by the way, but it's sold separately on sale. We'll stick that link in the notes for today. On sale as of this recording for a few weeks after. You can avoid all these landmines. Yeah. And just to restate what you just said, I just want to say it a slightly different way. So we really drive this point home because the people who get in trouble with Amazon to Amazon flips don't understand that you can't use your Amazon Prime shopping deals and then flip those back. Don't do that. Set up a separate business account. Do it the right way, the way we teach you in the course. Yeah, because you could be putting both your buying and selling. I think I get in more trouble with my wife if my ability to shop on Amazon got shut down versus
yeah,
my ability to sell there.
legitimate
So,
concern.
exactly. All right. So what else do they need to know, if anything, as far as basics to stay out of trouble?
Yeah, if you have little to no experience with this, I would highly recommend just buy from Amazon only. Like you'll see a lot of price drops if you start looking at these things that maybe it's a third party seller that has had a price drop. There's tons of people who buy from third party sellers. I do selectively, but it's a completely different world, and you really have to know what you're doing. Don't just go
Yes.
buy all these because it's a good deal and you can make a profit. So I would highly recommend just pay attention to that. If you're using Keepa, you can filter that way and make sure that it's Amazon that's the one that's selling it. And that way there's no trouble. If you have any issues where you have to provide invoices or anything like that, Amazon has actually requested several times in several places, if you're providing a Amazon order, give us the order ID number. So like they're well aware of this. It's good for them, I think, in some ways. And there may be times where it's not always the best deal for them. Maybe we're buying things from them where they're taking a loss, but generally speaking, they're doing just fine. It's not a bad thing for them. It's actually a good thing. I just saw something today where there is a brand selling directly on Amazon, and they've got this one product that's selling currently 6,000 times a month. And I can tell looking at the offer count, looking at the stock in and out, probably half of those sales are going to A2A flippers. And just think about this, that Amazon is getting referral fees when the brand sells it, and
Hmm.
then they're getting referral fees when the reseller sells it at double the price.
Yep.
It's not a bad deal for Amazon. Right?
They're happy to do it. I mean, they've
Yeah,
done it with books forever. You buy a book, you read it. Hey, you want to sell it, right? They
yeah.
encourage. They want that same product flipping through their warehouse, right? Hey, why
Every,
not? Now
every
you
time
can't.
they touch it.
Yeah, they're making money,
Yeah.
so they're fine with it. Don't sell those books as new. We just learned that from Ryan. If it's used, doesn't matter if it's still in the shrink wrap. D- My general advice with books is, if you think you've got a book that you're allowed to sell as new, you're wrong. Don't.
Yeah.
There's no such thing unless
Yeah.
you're buying it direct from the publisher in bulk. You do not sell books as new ever on Amazon. But
That's
even if
that's
you're
a good
flipping it,
point.
hmm,
And like I didn't know that till I started doing A2A.
yeah,
And in the past, I've bought books new from
hmm,
Ollie's and
hmm,
resold them. I would not do that anymore.
no, you're
And
walking on thin ice. It's
talking about
just
A
books.
to A,
Yeah.
A to A for books, there's still amazing opportunity in books to buy them and resell them as used. It's not like you
Mhm.
can't do it. You
Right.
just have to make sure you're listing it as used like new.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All kinds of opportunity. Well, you're on the cusp of doing seven figures and A to A flips this year, just to use round
Yes.
numbers. What kind of margins are you seeing in comparison to, like, what you're hearing from other people who are selling on Amazon, just doing traditional OA sourcing models? Like,
Yeah.
what's
So,
what's
I
the
mean,
benefit here?
me having experience with both, my margins are significantly higher. I'm seeing, gross margins around 20%. And I think one difference, and it doesn't have to be this way. I mean, everybody's different. The inventory that you purchase will change person to person. Some people use a prep center, some people don't. Some people have a warehouse with staff, some people don't. So
Hmm.
all that can change, but generally what I've seen is the margins are significantly higher, but the turn rate is slower. So with a lot of the OA stuff, I did have a higher turn rate, but I was just flying through products at much lower margins. Whereas the A to A, there is some really great opportunities. And I guess another consideration is capital, right? If you have a lot of capital to deploy, maybe you are going to spend some money on lower margin products because your capital is better at work than not at work. But if you're more limited, you can be more selective, and that's something that's kind of hard to do sometimes. That FOMO of missing a deal, there will always be another deal.
Hmm.
So if your capital is limited, just start watching these deals, and then when there's one that's just amazing ROI, amazing margin, those are the ones you want to go after. So you can be pretty selective, really good margins.
Plenty of deals to be had. And well, I know one of the things that you do in the course that you've put together is you teach us how to have an advantage in this arena. Yeah, how to get in there quick, how to find the deals. But that leads me to think, I'm trying to think like a skeptic for a minute, saying, well, okay, if there's a bunch of people doing this, how saturated is this going to get? And I know you and I had talked about this when we first started talking about releasing these strategies
Mhm.
out too. a whole bunch of people who are now using them. So has it gotten harder for you now that there's, a few hundred people in our community taking this serious and going after this?
I've grown since then. My revenue has grown since then. So no, every ASIN is different. I've learned.
Yeah.
So, sometimes Amazon limits the quantity. And maybe that's where some of this doing a Google search can help you get more. But if they've limited the quantity to 3 units per purchase, you know, I don't really care if there's a very high offer spike on that. If
Yeah.
the velocity is there, it's not a lot of inventory. And to the offer count, I also don't care if there's a high offer count and a lot of the sellers are priced very high. They're not my competition. I care about where's the competition. And maybe that's a much smaller pool than you're seeing on the offer count. So far, no, like I said, our revenue is growing. I think we'll blow last year's December out of the water this year. And the following year, we're going to do the same thing.
Yeah. Well,
It's just as soon as I think I'm hitting the limit, learn something new, or something I hadn't thought of before, look at something a different way, and realize there's so much I don't know, and there's still so much opportunity that is untapped.
agreed. Agreed. Yeah, I equate it to a blue ocean that's rapidly expanding. There's just so much opportunity there, so many different ways to tackle this. And you've given us a great roadmap. I've heard nothing but positive feedback from people who have been through the A2A course. I'll just mention the link for those who maybe didn't catch it in the introduction. It's provenamazoncourse.com/A2A. Just those 3 digits, the letter A, the number 2, the letter A, as in Amazon to Amazon flips. And this is Ryan Otwell we're talking to today, who put that course together for us. Fantastic course. And like I said, if you're listening to this around the time we're recording it, late October, early November 2025, it's on sale right now for just a few bucks, man. You got to snag it. So, all right. What else do you want to talk about? Talk me through any.
Well, we can stay on A to A for a little bit. I think
Yeah,
for people that are not familiar with it, who've not really heard about it, I think some of the common hangups are there's a fear of selling against Amazon. I looked right before the call so I could be accurate about this. It fluctuates, but right now I'm overlapping Amazon on 60% of my catalog. So
that's a
I,
great quote.
yeah, I'm not encouraging anybody to do that. Like, you don't have to do that. But if you're overlapping on 0% of your catalog, you're missing a massive swath of inventory that, there's a lot of opportunity that you're just not
So when you
looking
say
at.
you're overlapping, you're selling on the same ASIN that
So
Amazon's selling
yeah, if
on.
it's pretty cool if, like, I do this with other sellers. If you're trying to find people who are, similar to you, overlapping you, you can look at it that way. But
Mhm.
I go look at my store on Keepa and it'll tell you, like, these are your top overlapping competitors. And number one is Amazon. I think number two is like, well, actually, number two is Amazon resale.
Right. Yeah.
Number three is at like 4%.
Yep.
So I like most of my ASINs are A to A and or A to adjacent, and Amazon is on most of my catalog, or I'm on a big chunk of their catalog, I could say.
Yeah. Right.
And what's interesting too is, like, I know some other very, very big stores, and you go look at them and look at the same thing, and you're like, wow, they're doing 10, 20, 30, $100 million a year in sales, and they're overlapping 30-40% of Amazon. So don't be afraid of that. Be smart about it, but don't be afraid about it. So
Yeah.
I think that's one of the biggest hangups for people, is like, that's one of the common filters, right? It's like Amazon is not on the listing, or Amazon's out of stock, is very common. Maybe rethink that a little bit. Don't just be afraid of Amazon. The other thing is, a lot of people are doing OA. They're listening to this, RA and OA. Amazon is the world's largest online retailer. Why would you do OA from everybody except for the world's
The biggest
largest
one.
online retailer? Why would you do that?
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Yeah.
those are just a couple things I like to throw people out there, just to, like, be comfortable enough to, like, look into it, poke
Hmm.
around,
Hmm.
test the waters. It's not as scary as you think.
What's a way that I could go too deep too fast with this concept and really like what's my worst case scenario if I start playing with A2A? Assume I don't break any rules. I'm only buying from Amazon, right? I understand I'm
Mhm.
not using my Prime shopping account, the one
Sure.
my wife uses. I'm not doing that to do the shopping. I got a separate business account set up. How else could I go wrong with this strategy?
Probably the same way you could go wrong, like just going to a clearance aisle in Walmart
Hmm.
and just saying, well, it's 50% off, so it's a good deal.
So it's
And
got to be profitable.
yeah, it's got to be, and it's going to go back to, 100% price.
Hmm.
Um, when if you're sourcing Walmart clearance aisle, there's a ton of opportunity there, you know, but not everything is an opportunity there, and not everything is going to recover in price. So why is it there? That I think if you can think a little bit that way, like learning a little bit about a category or a product line, like is this it does it have terrible reviews? Like that might be something to look for. Does it have 2-star rating and like that's why it's on clearance? Or is this truly just like a really good deal?
Hmm.
So I think it's some of that.
Learning
So
to read keep it to spot those signs, right? Is this
yeah,
a seasonal thing?
yeah, you could see I look at the lifetime chart always.
Hmm.
So my keep a chart default is set to 1 year. I don't ever look at a three month chart or anything like that. I'm always at least 1 year, and then I click the button to see the lifetime. And that can tell you a lot about a product right there. Is do you see a lot of price erosion, but the price recovers to full price? Is that something that's often? Do you see it's up and down to a low and a high? If that's the case, you have a more reliable chance of selling it at a higher price. Now, is the price eroding and it recovers, but to a lower high, and then it goes down and it recovers to a lower high? Don't expect it to go back to full retail price. Now we could go into categories. Is it toys? Is it collectibles? Is it vinyl limited editions? There's a lot more there where you could be looking into the future of stock levels and things like that. But just just to be safe, and that's why I say test wide. And that's what I did. I learned a lot by testing wide in every category imaginable. But yeah, I think if you go wide, if you don't know variations, that's something that could get you in trouble too, I guess. Variations, there's a lot more to look into there than just the face value of the keep it chart. But other than that, it's just trying to determine, is this a good deal, or is this a dud?
Right, right. The basic skills of learning to read a keep a chart and not being afraid of selling against Amazon just because they're there. Don't run away scared. Right. So much opportunity here, and you're evidence of that. We've heard great feedback from so many students who've been through that A2A training. So thanks for putting that together for us. And I know we're even starting to see some new cool tools emerge and strategies and things that we're going to be sharing with the community. But you're a 3P Mercury user, correct? Or not?
I have used it. I'm not currently using it,
Okay.
but
I
we're
wasn't sure if there was
trying
any
to get that
connection
set up.
there.
No, not yet. We've gotten a lot of stuff added to it, but I need to hire and train somebody to manage that
Yeah.
aspect.
Yeah, maybe you can help us work on the filters there for A2A opportunities and make it even better in that arena as a tool for A2A flippers.
Yeah,
Uh,
sounds like Kang's doing some cool stuff with the AI as well, right?
yeah, exactly. Yeah, lots of cool stuff on that front. I lose track of who all's already dove in and who hasn't on the team, but yeah, for sure. Well, not to derail. So what else? What else is on your mind? Anything? It just any chance I have to get together with the great leaders and successful students from this community.
Yeah,
I love hearing what they're up to, what they're excited about.
sure. Yeah, I like to just talk to the people who are listening. I mean, I know there's a wide range of people, some very experienced, some very little experience, and some people who have no experience who are just listening and have not started their business yet.
Mm,
Um, I'm well positioned to take advantage of this strategy this December, only because I've been laying the groundwork all year, and
yeah.
I've been practicing the strategy for 2 years now. So now is a good time. Like you have time now to learn a new skill. It doesn't have to be A to A. It could be RA, OA. You could learn a couple new keep a product finder filters right now and really lean in December. And you can learn so much. You can gain so much experience this year, this December. Put some money in your pocket, learn the business. Next December is only 14 months away. It's only 14 months away. So if you're
Yeah.
not doing anything now, to have experience and start something, you're not going to have anything then either. So if this is, if you need some help getting kicked off the fence, get off the fence, learn something, do something, and be planning for next December,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's going to be amazing.
Yeah. Well, it's a year-round business for sure, but to miss out on December is a bit of a disappointment. The people who tend to start in like February and March are like, "What's all this excitement about? I hear about December." It just, shoppers lose their minds and they just buy so much of everything. But year-round, I mean, we're meeting
Right.
unmet demand.
Right.
Really, that's ultimately all A2A flip is it's meeting. It's the same as all the other replen strategies we teach. It's filling the underfilled shelf space, meeting unmet demand. You can do that year round, but absolutely
Absolutely.
agree.
We're over October, we're up 40% from last October.
Yeah. And if that
So that
holds
doesn't
steady, yeah, you're going to blow 1.5 out of the water, man. 1.5 million, you're going to blow that out of the water. So that's tremendous, man. So excited for you guys. Well, what else? Anything else on your mind?
Sure.
Anything else you want to talk
Um,
about?
yeah, we'll go a different direction.
Let's go.
We've got a nonprofit that we've started up. It's
Yes.
called Send the Light. The website is send-the-light.com. We've got IRS approval for this, and kind of our mission and our goal here is to send clothes, food, school supplies, all kind of various necessities to families in need in the Philippines.
Yeah.
I think it's a really cool overlap with our business. And so I like to reach out to the community and just ask if anybody has any death pile that they're sick of looking at it, send it to us. We can give you a tax write off for the inventory.
That's
Uh,
awesome. 501c3 in hands now.
Correct.
That's
Yes.
awesome,
And
dude. Good
and
work.
if you have a label cost to ship it to us, you can include that in your
Yeah.
donation as well.
Yes.
So we're not like going out and doing mass solicitations right now, but we are still looking for some people to help us test it out, because we need to hone in our systems on receiving inventory. So if anybody is interested in helping us get this going with some test runs, please DM me and Facebook, and I'd love to work some out with you guys.
Yeah, I'll stick all the links that people need in the show notes with today's episode. I know you've got a real heart for the Philippines. You've been there. You've met some of the virtual assistants that are now team members and like family to you, right?
Yeah.
That help you run your business. Talk me through that a little bit. I think that's what we talked about last time you were on the show. It's been a while back.
Yeah, so I actually was invited to go with our congregation. We support several preachers over there. So we went there to build relationships with the people that we're supporting.
Mhm.
And while I was there, I got to meet my team members. So one
Right.
of them, it was in Manila, got to spend time with her on the way out because we flew into Manila. And then I had a couple on the Philippines is spread out. It's enormous. It's, 1,000 islands all over the place, but a couple got to fly up and meet with us and spend a few days with us. So that was amazing. We're actually planning to go back again in February, trying to take the family with me this time. And we're able to do that because we have hundreds of thousands of credit card points from this business.
From all the purchases.
Yeah,
That's one of the
we're
perks.
we're not wealthy and we are not just like traveling the world, but yeah, the credit card points are an amazing perk for this business.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Put
Yeah,
everything on the card.
going back, trying to take the family once again, visit with the congregations we support, and see my team again. And we might stay longer. I'd like to do some business there, like some in-person training, and then maybe some vacation as well. Didn't get to do much vacation last time, so
Yeah, it's a beautiful place, beautiful people. A lot of the virtual assistants, I'd estimate that 90% of the online virtual assistants that our community is using to help them run and support their businesses are Filipinos.
Mhm.
Just it's such a great connection where the U.S. dollar goes so far, and they're such hardworking, loyal, reliable people as a culture. It's a great fit. Well, you mentioned your send the light, send the light.com. What kind of products are you looking for specifically that would be of most
Yeah.
interest to you,
So
most value?
so any basic necessities is really what we would love. Like if you have any, return shoes, that's ideal. Like if
Yes.
you get those shoes, they've been worn, you can't resell them as new. That is
Mhm.
perfect. But anything like that, any personal care items, non-perishable foods, office supplies, tools, anything like that is great. Now, you don't have to go through your inventory and sift it and figure it out. If you want to write off inventory, you can send it to us and we can sort it and see what's appropriate and donate
Hmm.
to another organization locally what's
Sure.
not appropriate.
Yeah.
So we're trying to keep it simple right now, and that's some of the stuff we need to test out. That's why we're asking for this,
Hmm.
because if it becomes something where we're just shipping around a lot of stuff and we're not actually being able to provide something beneficial, maybe it's not the best avenue. So that's some of the stuff we're trying to work out.
Yeah, I just love your heart for being determined to test this model out. And this is the right community to do it with. A lot of generous, virtuous people who maybe have some stuff that they shouldn't have bought or overbought or didn't work out or whatever. This is a great way to get the tax write-off, send it to you guys. Let's test this concept out and maybe do some special things for some good people in the Philippines, showing
Yeah,
some
and if
love. And
my beauty category sellers, if y'all got those piles of free samples and stuff, that stuff is a big hit over there. I sent a bunch of
Mhm.
mine over there and they loved it. So yeah.
Oh, that's great. I'm so excited, man. Oh, I can't wait to see the pictures of you down there delivering some crates of some good stuff and meeting some of those people. It's just kind of going to fuel this fire. This is the kind of thing this community loves getting behind as well. I think you're going to get some good points of contact from people with some good ideas here. So,
Yeah.
all right, Ryan. Well, what else, man? Anything else on your mind while you've got the attention of the listeners today?
No, I don't think so. I don't like to get on and talk to Jim without asking Jim questions though. So I'll ask you a question.
Sure. If you got
I
one for me,
Yeah, I have some thoughts on this, and I'll tell you my 2 cents, but I'm
sure.
sure others would like to hear from you.
Yeah,
We have the looming recession and job losses
sure.
and the AIs destroying everybody's jobs, and
Yeah,
like there's a lot of fear and uncertainty and doom
sure.
right
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
So, like, what advice do you have for people who are looking at starting a business or are in a retail oriented business?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my quick thought on it is, let's say it's really bad and retail sales are down 20%. Like, well, I'd still rather have the 80% than 0%. So that's that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense to me. And there is a K-shaped recovery where, the people with assets and money, they've gotten very wealthy. And the people without those things have gotten worse. Amazon customers tend to be the upper side of that. So I think it is
Hmm.
a good business
Hmm.
still. So, what are your
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Yeah. Just to restate the question a tad, and I think hit a topic that it would be of interest to people with my opinion, is selling on Amazon recession proof as a business model, right? Are we in the right place at the right time? And I would say, with as much confidence as I've ever prognosticated anything before in my life, absolutely yes, we are. E commerce remains the fastest growing economic sector in the US economy. Nothing, there's not even a close second place. It's just blowing everything else away. Amazon remains half of all that activity in the fastest growing economic sector, right? People are going to buy stuff. The most nervous I ever was, Ryan, was when COVID started shaking things. And resellers made a killing, if you recall. And I was nervous, thinking, oh man, people aren't going to buy anything. It's all going down. No one's going to go to work. Everything's going to crash and burn. No, one of the Rush Limbaugh used to say, "Oh, there's a recession. Well, I decided I'm not participating." You just keep doing what you've been doing, man. We are in the right arena at the right time. When people stop shopping, then I'll get nervous. But there is no indication whatsoever that shoppers are done shopping. The convenience of Amazon. A guy I play basketball with, his job is helping open new Amazon warehouses just in the Midwest. And he's like, we're slammed. Our schedule's just booked solid. New warehouses opening like crazy. The future's bright. It's all going to be just fine.
Yeah,
These economic cycles come and go. It's a complete non-issue. Sell
yeah,
what people are buying. That's the benefit we get as resellers, Ryan, is we sell what people are buying. Yeah,
yeah,
we're really good at buying the inventory that people are saying they really want that's not as available as they wish it was.
Mhm.
Shoppers, that want it faster. That it's selling out. That's the stuff we buy and sell. So no,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
a
just another word of encouragement for this year. We've had it's not like COVID, and I unfortunately wasn't selling at that time. I guess y'all had a heyday. during
Oh, it was
COVID.
crazy. We were all panicked, and then we were freaking out because people were buying everything.
But these, the tariffs have put a wrinkle in a lot of supply chains, and there are going to be some really nice pockets of profit this year if you have your hands on inventory that has been tariffed to oblivion. Like, you're in a good place.
Yeah, well, Yoda Yi and I had a conversation. He's the CEO of Three Cults, and they've got a lot of software for resellers. We've got the audience of resellers here, and we like to collaborate. He's at Amazon headquarters all the time talking, and the observation he made. He actually wrote an article about it when I had him on the podcast. He referenced that anytime there's volatility in supplies or pricing or tariffs or any uncertainty in the supply chain of the movement of inventory, anytime that there's volatility, resellers win big. Bad news for everyone else means good news for us. Good news for everyone else is still good news for us.
Right.
But bad news is really good news for us. That volatility is opportunity because we're small, we're nimble, we can pivot, we go where the opportunity is. And there's always going to be opportunity when there's bad news. When bad things happen, we make a lot of money. So yeah, you're in the right business at the right time. It's a great second income stream. It's a great primary income stream. It's as stable as anything else that I see out there. I wouldn't want to have a real job right now. I wouldn't want to be one of those 30,000 people that just got laid off at Amazon headquarters. You know where they're not laying off people at Amazon? In the warehouses. they're they're hiring like mad there. It's the people sitting behind cushy desk jobs in charge of, equity programs or whatever. Like those people are getting laid off. But the people doing the work, moving product from point A to point B, they're hiring like crazy. So
So, doing a ton of A2A, I actually had the Amazon delivery driver call me the other day. We weren't home, and he's like, "Is anybody home? You want to open the garage? Like, I got a lot of boxes." And I was like, "Oh no, we're not home." And he said, "Sir, this is the biggest delivery I've ever had." But
great.
then I saw him another day, and he was telling my little one, like, "Man, don't go get a job for working for Amazon. Like, it's so hard and this and that." And I was like, just smiling. I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And he's like, "What do you do?" I was like, "Sell on Amazon."
Work for
He's like,
Amazon.
"What?"
I don't get a paycheck though.
I was like, "I agree. You shouldn't work for Amazon." That's, yeah, kind of agree with you on there, but you
Yeah,
can sell on
so
Amazon.
someone was saying those people that got laid off in Seattle with Amazon here this last week are probably going to be coming in our community to
Yeah,
sell on Amazon
they
instead of.
should. They
Yeah,
know.
absolutely, no reason
They got
not to.
connections. Yeah.
It's a blue ocean, dude, of opportunity. It really is. And something else that I like to say all the time is we're not just here to teach you how to resell on Amazon. We're here to open up the arena of opportunity that is e-commerce. And there's just so many exciting things happening. You mentioned AI. My quick take on AI is it's going to create vastly more opportunities than it eliminates. Just like every other major technological advances has
Mhm.
done all through history. The people who made buggy whips were really mad when Ford started cranking out Model Ts. You're
Mhm.
killing all the jobs, but we needed millions of mechanics.
Right.
Same thing with AI. It's going to create and open up doors of opportunity and new business models. And people will always buy from people. Computers don't buy from computers. People buy from people, goods, services, ideas, content. So there's never been a better time to be a small entrepreneur who can kind of pivot, go where the opportunities are. And that's what we do here. I've seen these waves come and go. I've been doing this 24 years, man. I've seen these waves of panic kind of come. And I know every single time, without exception, it's been a huge opportunity on the other side for people in the e-commerce arena. It's just a fact. It doesn't even raise my heart rate anymore. I'm like, oh, here comes another wave of opportunity. The more people
Yeah.
are freaking out, the more bigger the opportunity is on the other side and riding through it. So yeah, great
I think
question, man.
it's really good time for us too, as I think Google Trends data on selling on Amazon is like dwindling down, like less people are. That's really good.
Yeah,
Because
sure.
think about like how good it is now, how much opportunity there is for us now. There's going to be
Mhm.
even more.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what's
Amazon's
happened
growing,
is,
but the interest on selling on Amazon is not
Mhm.
growing apparently. So
well, the shoppers are shopping in greater numbers than ever, and there's less interest in selling.
exactly.
What does that
Yeah.
mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
and the reason I think there's less interest, among others, is because so many people did it the wrong way. And that bad news report rippled through. And people are like, yeah, it's not like it used to be. Well, what model were you using? Well, I was scanning barcodes at Goodwill all day, every day, and they shut me down. Like, well, yeah, shouldn't have been doing that. Right. But that bad news cloud has kind of settled over the whole opportunity, and it's talked some people out of it. And yeah, the opportunity, it's growing as fast, if not faster than it ever has. There's a lot of, at any given time, we're estimating at least several million unstocked or understocked popular ASINs in Amazon's hundreds of warehouses across the US. Millions. Realistically, yeah, Ryan, do this. I mean, I encourage people listening to this right now. You can go prove this theory right now. Just think of some popular items that are being sold. Go to the top most popular items in any category in Amazon, and then look to see if you can have it by noon today or by 4 p.m. today. A lot of that stuff, it's like, oh yeah, 4 days from now we'll have it for you, because it's got to come from 3 states away. The warehouse near you doesn't have any of it. If the warehouse near you did have some of it, you'd snag it, you'd be willing to pay more, and you'd have it by noon today. But there's a lot of stuff that's just unstocked. Just is. That's opportunity. That's millions of ASINs that are underserved. And we see that all day, every day around here. So yeah, the opportunity is not going anywhere anytime soon. Yeah, great topic. Thanks for asking me. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Very good. Well, that's a good place to wrap up. I think we provided some good value to folks. And I just want to remind everyone, this is Ryan Otwell. He's the guy that created our Amazon to Amazon Flips course inside the Proven Amazon course. It's also sold separately at provenamazoncourse.com/A2A. And if you're listening to our podcast in real time, like when it comes out within a few days, you catch a lot of good stuff that's maybe time sensitive. So it's on sale right now through probably early mid-November. We're going to have that thing on sale for you, and you can snag it at a great discounted price. All the links to everything we talked about, including the Send the Light website that Ryan talked about. We'll stick all those in the show notes for you today. So thanks for joining Ryan and I today for a great conversation. Hopefully you feel encouraged and inspired. Ryan, thanks again, my friend. Good seeing you, buddy.
Sure. You as well. Thank you.
We'll have another great episode for you very soon. Thanks for joining us. Hey, before I let you go, let's spend a couple minutes with someone who's going to put more money in your pocket. If your accountant isn't helping you make a lot more money, they're probably not doing their job the right way. You need someone who understands e-commerce. You need someone who understands Amazon, Walmart selling. And I've got a great suggestion for you today. I'm talking about Cindy Smith of ecaccounting.com. Not only is she a great sponsor of this show, a sponsor of our community, she also created the accounting training module that's inside the Proven Amazon course. You can find that module inside the Proven Amazon course library. It's called Proven Accounting Training. That's the name of the module. It's brand new. It's only been out for a short period of time. It's everything you need. If you want to do this yourself, you want to do your taxes and do your accounting and bookkeeping yourself, it's a must-have module. But Cindy and her team have been helping many students in this community for a very long time keep and earn more money, do their deductions and their taxes and their bookkeeping the right way. And we're going to spend a couple minutes with Cindy with some very specific practical tips today that will help you. If you are trying to do this yourself, odds are you're probably not doing it the right way. You would be earning more money to put a good accountant to work for you in your business. And that's what we're going to spend a couple minutes talking about with Cindy. Let's get her on the line right now. So Cindy, thanks for joining us today. Good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for inviting me.
So you got 3 things you were hoping to share with us today. I love this list you put together. Let's jump into it if you're ready.
Okay, yeah, sure. So first, do you want?
Yeah, no, go ahead. Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah, making more money. I mean,
right.
An accountant pays for themselves, right? Yeah, go into that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the problems we see are businesses that maybe aren't using an accountant, and they're only seeing a small picture of how their business is doing. Maybe they're looking at their profit and loss through an inventory software, or they're looking at the sales on their sales platforms or the balances in their bank accounts. They're not getting the full picture. If you just have those small bits of information, you're not seeing your balance sheet. You're not seeing how much you own, how much you owe. You're not looking at inventory turnover, maybe your cash flows. A lot of times people will look at the P&L and say, hey, I have a profit, but where's all my cash? And then when we clean up their books and give them a cash flow, suddenly they realize, oh my gosh, I didn't realize how much I was paying for my debt or how much was tied up in inventory. And so there's a lot of information people miss by only having one piece of a financial statement, by only having maybe a profit and loss and not the balance sheet and cash flow statement and even a general ledger.
So I know you agree with this statement. We've talked about it prior that a good accountant more than pays for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they better. So,
Yeah.
yeah, they should be providing you with accurate data so that you can look at those numbers every month and make decisions and pivot right away. Financial statements aren't just for doing your taxes at the end of the year. In fact, that to me is almost one of the the least, I won't say least important, but it's not the most important reason. To me, having financial statements every month is going to provide you all of that information you need to grow your business. And yes, you're paying an accountant to do that, but you should be making that back and then some by being able to increase the profits in your business, pivoting, making changes to your expenses when you need to, and even sourcing.
Yeah.
You don't have to spend all
Making
that time
smarter
doing your own
strategy
books.
decisions,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've helped clients look at their financial statements and help them decide if they needed to expand to a warehouse or if they needed to hire a shopper. And when they've made those decisions based on good numbers, they were
Mhm.
able to grow their profits
Mhm.
exponentially. And
Yep.
it's really exciting to see businesses that use those financial statements to grow their business and work with their accountants and meet with their accountants to go over them to help them grow the business. So yeah, definitely should be getting some sort of an ROI
Yeah.
on your accountant.
And a mentor of mine taught me, Rabbi Lappin, that until you know the numbers, you cannot apply wisdom to a situation.
Hmm. Yeah,
A component of
absolutely.
biblical wisdom is
Hmm.
know the numbers. If you
Know the
think you're
number to
being
know
wise, but
all
you
of
don't know the numbers, you're guessing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's a complete guess. And
Yep.
it's really kind of interesting when we'll start working with clients and we show them what their financials really are, their eyes are open. It's like, oh, I didn't realize this, for better or for worse. They've got the truth. They have the answers. And
Mhm.
then they can take that to help improve everything and to make things better and reach their goals and increase their profits.
Well, that kind of leads us into the second, and you alluded to this a little bit, but the
Mhm.
second thing that we had slated was truly understanding your numbers. When you say that, you mentioned the three different financial reports.
Mhm.
Talk me through the basics of that. Why those three reports?
Right.
And that's something you do for all your clients?
Yes, every client where we're doing the bookkeeping for them. Yes. So the balance sheet, you have to have a balance sheet because it's going to show what you own and what you owe. So sometimes clients will say, hey, I'm doing great. I've got these great profits. But then we show them the balance sheet and they realize they're $100,000 in debt and they didn't realize they owed quite that much. Or we'll show them the profit and loss and they didn't realize how much their interest was that they were paying on those debts or things like that. So yeah, the main three are the balance sheet, which shows, like I said, what you own, what you owe, the profit and loss, which of course shows what you're earning on your income. And then the cash flow statement just shows the movement of cash in the business. So sometimes clients will say, well, why doesn't my profit equal what my bank account changed by? And it's because there's a lot of activity going on in your business that uses cash or provides cash, but it isn't an income or expense to your business. So having all three of those really helps a business owner understand the full picture of what's going on, not just one little piece. And then if you have the general ledger on top of it, especially if you're working with an outside accountant or somebody's doing the accounting for you, you can look at every transaction and make sure everything makes sense as well.
Outstanding. I see where Jimmy gets his thorough business acumen and approach. I think that's a mom thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it was natural to him. He was that way from the beginning, I
Really, yeah,
think.
he's a great business partner in our community. I love working with him. And for those who don't realize, this is Jimmy Smith's mom, Cindy.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, okay, well, the third thing, and this is a brief segment, but I think it's going to be very useful for a lot of people. And I want to be
Mhm.
sure to tell people how they can reach out to you so you can work
Okay.
with them on their business. But
Mhm.
the importance of having someone in e-commerce
Right.
as your
Yeah.
accountant, as
Yeah.
opposed to just a general accountant. Why
Right.
does that matter?
Right, exactly. So e-commerce, there's a lot of differences. I mean, I've worked in public accounting for many years and started e-commerce accounting 6 years ago because there's so many differences. So for an e-commerce business, you've got inventory, but you've got inventory in multiple locations. You might have it at a warehouse. You might have it at Amazon FBA. You might have it in your house, under your bed, all sorts of different places. The sales platforms, each sales platform, their reports are different. The way they handle your inventory is different. I mean, there's so many challenges with each platform. A sourcing method has a huge effect on your accounting, whether you're doing OA or RA. I mean, just OA and RA, the time it takes the inventory to get to you is different. So that affects your books. If you're doing wholesale, maybe you have payment terms. If you're manufacturing, that's a whole different animal as far as having raw materials and finished goods. And if you're doing print on demand, that's, again, it's completely different in how you account for it in your books. And accountants that aren't familiar with e-commerce don't know those things. They don't understand all the differences with the inventory and the sales platform and the sourcing methods. And so it really has a huge effect, which is why we started this business, because we were seeing a shortage in that. Now, there are more now than there were 6 years ago, which is good. But 6 years ago, it's a little hard to find anybody that really understood it. So.
Well, you're doing a tremendous job,
Thank
and
you.
it's an honor to have you as a sponsor of our community and this podcast. And I'm excited to have your name out there as someone that people can reach out to. Do you do U.S. only clients, or are you international?
Taxes, we do U.S. only right now, but we can do bookkeeping for any country for the most part, because that's a little more universal. I mean, there's nuances with different countries, but
Sure,
it's a little more universal than the actual tax part of it.
very good. And the website, if someone wants to reach out to you and your team,
Yeah, it's the shortest one is ecaccounting.com. If you want the full name, we've got ecommerceaccountingllc.com, but that's too much to type in. So we shortened
I like the shorter one.
things.com. Yeah,
Accounting.
I do too. Yeah, we're working on a new website too, so I'm really excited about it. I have a lot more resources on there for everybody. That should be out here pretty soon.
Fantastic. Yeah. Well, we'll stick that link in the show notes for today's episode as well, and have you back soon as well if you want to come back and teach us something. I know tax season's right around the corner, so
yeah.
We're
If you need an
excited to
accountant,
have you here as a resource for sure. Thank you so much, Cindy. Appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Talk to you again soon.
All right.
Bye for now.
All right. Bye-bye.